Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to YouTube Q&A number 10. Before we jump into things today, I just want to thank everybody for supporting this YouTube channel. We just hit 7,000 subscribers, which is an awesome milestone. And I just want to thank you guys for supporting this channel and for keeping up with my videos. So let's now just jump into today's Q&A. So first question here. Remi, congrats for all your work. Do you have pain from sitting on a sofa, rounded back with a deactivated core? I can deadlift, squat, and row, but that position only with 5 minutes is killing me. It seems to be up a lot of pressure. What do you think? So, I don't know this person's specific back issues, but I would assume probably a disc herniation impinging on the nerve root, which is common for people to have symptoms with sitting for too long or just bending over. Now, the thing with mechanical back pain is if you take that same person or if you take anyone else out there, even myself, I had pain with sitting and bending over. Now, standing was fine, walking was fine, laying on my stomach was fine, and now I'm able to deadlift, squat, and perform a cable row or some sort of row, chest supported row, no problem. The problem with sitting and then rounding your back like that, we're already in a poor position for our spine. Now, for someone that's looking to manage their issues, I wouldn't recommend going into that position because it's just a poor spinal position. We're putting our back into a jeopardized situation. And for someone with existing back issues, when we talk about mechanical back issues, that could simply trigger one symptoms. So my thoughts would be invest in a better chair or a better sofa, or just maintain a better posture when sitting. Not everyone is going to be pain-free with every single position or movement. I personally just don't do sit-ups anymore. I can't because I know that's perhaps going to trigger my symptoms, and knowing that sit-ups, performing a high number of cycle of them, creates a disc herniation. With myself already having an existing disc herniation, I could make that disc herniation worse. So it all comes down to understanding pain triggers and understanding mechanical low back pain. Now, next question. So to kind of follow up on this, I sit down a lot, Remi, for my job. Any tips? So a few tips I'm just going to list off here. Invest in a spine-friendly chair or a lumbar support that is spine-friendly for yourself. Dr. McGill on his website at www.backfitpro.com has a few back supports that I would recommend to check out if you're looking into that. My next suggestion would be just to take frequent breaks from sitting if you can. So maybe getting up out of the seated position, going to the washroom, take a break, just to walk around, loosen up some of those tissues that have been statically loaded for a period of time. That will help really spare the back. And just kind of change your posture as frequent as you can. Maybe lean back, lean to the side if you can. Whatever positions don't trigger pain and can provide relief, I would just suggest kind of changing your sitting posture up as frequent as you can. So there's a few tips that I hope can help. Moving into our next question. Hi Remi, your full recovery is impressive, but still many questions are on my mind. One of them is, now after many years since you had problems and recovered, can you describe your feeling of back stiffness when it gets triggered, or how you just feel when you're having 2 hours on a flight? Do you feel it is getting better over time? In other words, when we use the term fully recovered from a disc herniation, of course we know that we are not going to fully recover ever. Does that mean that we just don't have the pain over the day, but still have stiffness if sitting a little bit longer? Okay, so a few questions kind of there, and just to kind of summarize that. With regards to back stiffness, keep in mind that not all stiffness is bad. Stiffness equals stability. Now, there's the case for good stiffness, and there's also the case for bad stiffness. Now, our lumbar spine, it needs to be one area that needs to be stable to help support us. And if it's too loose, we get too much motion at the low back, that's going to place more stress on the back. So we need some good stiffness there to provide some stability. Now, the stiffness that you may complain about maybe when sitting, or you may experience from sitting, that could be just from the tissues being overloaded and your body telling you that you need to get out of that position. If you sit too long, stand too long, lay down too long, it's just not going to be good for your body because you're stressing those tissues for too long of a period that is going to exceed our biological tolerance, and that is going to start causing problems. So that's why you might experience that tightness. And you know, it's going to be hard to completely avoid that, especially if you're in a position where you're traveling on a plane and you're stuck on there for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever it is. But we try to manage it as best as possible, and we can do that by investing in good lumbar support, taking frequent breaks, adjusting our sitting posture, like I kind of mentioned on the previous question. So those are just a few tips. And yes, no one's really ever going to fully recover from their disc herniation per se, but that doesn't mean we're going to be, you know, we're going to have pain throughout our whole lives. We can manage that. We just have to be smart, strategic about how we manage our back and how we're kind of tolerating and approaching our lifestyle. Now, I wouldn't say you're going to wake up just one day without pain. It's going to be more of a progressive program or strategy leading up to that point where, you know, you may not experience symptoms. It's going to be a gradual reduction is what I would say. And at least that's what happened in my case until the pain was basically gone. But you still need to be very smart with what you're doing afterwards. So hopefully those tips and insights kind of give you or, you know, answer your question there. All right, so for our last question here. So trying to get to the inverted position without an inversion table, is it helpful to hang upside down with a pull-up bar when the knees are bent at the bar holding it? Is there any strain on the sciatic nerve at this point in knees, or is it a good replacement for an inversion table for the ones that can pull it off? So what I would say is, number one, traction isn't for everyone. Yes, some will get relief with traction, some won't, and some actually may get worse. Now, hanging just from a pull-up bar upside down, number one, it's not really practical for a lot of people, and it can be a challenge to get into that position, especially if you're trying to follow something every day and maybe multiple times a day. The other thing I'll say is, just going off the practicality of it, again, is that, you know, that's just a challenging task for one to get into and to hold themselves up with their knees like that. So they're really kind of stressing, you know, the lower body there just to hold themselves up in that position. So my recommendation would be try an inversion table out or some form of traction, maybe manual traction from a physical therapist. See how that feels, see how you respond to that. If you respond well, then there's your indication that traction is probably going to be something that could be beneficial for you. Then I'd say invest in an inversion table. Spend the $150 to $300, $350, whatever it is, for the type of table you're buying, and then just jump on your table and hang upside down. That's my recommendation instead of, you know, making things really challenging and difficult. You know, for the inversion table that I have, I use the teeter. Yes, it's a little bit more pricey, I will say, but the quality is excellent, and I've had it for a few years now without any issues. So, you know, it's something that I think could last many years. You know, if you're willing to kind of invest in it, if it's something that, you know, is helpful for you. It's not for everyone, but just thought I'd share a few thoughts there in terms of hanging from a pull-up bar. Just don't think it's the most practical thing, and, you know, it can be uncomfortable and kind of strain your lower body. So just a few thoughts there. Hopefully that kind of provides some information there. Anyways, that's it for today's YouTube Q&A, and that wraps up Q&A number 10. If you guys have any questions, comments, anything you'd like me to address going forward here, please leave a comment or message below, and I'll be happy to address that in a future video. Okay, once again, thank you all for the support. For 7,000 subscribers, I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for keeping up with the channel and supporting me. That being said, I wish you guys all the best. Have a successful and productive day, and take care.